All the characters in the story are over 18 years old. My name is Alex, 18 years old. I study in college. For some reason, despite my family, I never became an athlete. I just didn't have the right physique. I resigned myself to joining a computer club and mastered some internet skills. At the club, we had free, unlimited internet access. My father divorced my mother, married some woman, and left. All we had was a house and some money. Mom had no choice but to go to work while I was going to school. Life was difficult, and she always gave me advice on how to study hard to get a good job. She also told me that if I ever find the right woman, I will love her forever and never leave her, no matter what happens. I just accepted everything she said, never thinking about them. But this incident made me remember her advice. I read a similar article on this topic. In this case, the mother gave her son exactly the same advice. After all, one day they immediately started their relationship. I looked at the photos they took. It was amazing. Mom had just returned home and was cooking dinner in the kitchen. I left my things and joined her. When I saw her, I was immediately fascinated by her. She was wearing work clothes, a white blouse. It wasn't a particularly beautiful garment, but it looked very beautiful on her body. In fact, she managed to keep her body slim and in shape by doing the usual exercises. I had never been particularly bothered by her exercises, but now I knew why I should encourage her to continue them. Her dark brown hair was loose and hung just above her shoulders. I went over to her and helped set the table in the kitchen, admiring her all the time. I have never been so fascinated by her. The dinner passed without incident. We talked about her work and my studies. After washing the dishes, I went to my room while my mother took a bath. At that moment, I heard the door creak. It was strange, because I was sure I had closed it. I got up and went to look around. We didn't see each other for the rest of the night. The next morning, Mom was already up and cooking breakfast. She was sitting at the table drinking coffee. I hesitated for a moment and then joined her at the table. She looked at me, then looked away, and then turned back to me. I looked into her eyes. I could tell she wanted to say something, most likely about what happened last night, but she just kept drinking. Finally, she got up and poured the rest of the coffee into the sink. After washing the cup, Mom turned to face me. There was a difficult pause. She swallowed and then asked, "Am I beautiful?" I asked, not knowing what to do with this question. I asked, "Do you think I'm beautiful?" I didn't know what to say. Yes, she was amazing. But could a son say that to his mother? Tell me the truth. I swallowed. Yes, I think you're beautiful. She picked up her bag and coat from the kitchen counter. It's nice because your father never said that about me. He didn't do it? I thought it was strange. What man wouldn't say that his wife is beautiful, especially a wife like Mom? She shook her head. But at least you're not your father. She smiled. It got me hooked. Of course, I had seen her smile before, but after all the thoughts that invaded my dreams last night, this smile seemed beautiful. She went to work, and I went to school. I skipped all classes and spent the whole day in the computer lab looking for new stories between mother and son. It was amazing. I must have found about 100, half of which were with pictures. Unfortunately, when I went home after school, my mom left a message on my answering machine saying that she would be home late. I cursed and went to bed early. The next day was Saturday. Mom didn't work on Saturdays. She stayed at home and did household chores, such as washing the floor and windows. I didn't go to school on Saturdays either and helped around the house. Mom was already up when I came downstairs. She had already started sweeping the floor. I avoided the place where she cleaned, otherwise she would have made a big fuss. I was about to go to the kitchen when I decided to sneak a peek at my mom. When I saw that she was going to turn around, I hurried to the kitchen. That's when it dawned on me. While I was eating at the table, I was thinking about my mother. Why doesn't she have a boyfriend? Dad got divorced almost 3 months ago, which was enough for her to start looking for a new partner. But she didn't, and that intrigued me. Maybe she wasn't looking for him? It's possible. She can still love Dad. I didn't hear my mom come in. She scared me when she sat down at the table. I jumped up and looked at her. She looked tired. She just stared blankly into space. "Are you all right, Mom?" I asked in a worried tone. She didn't answer, but just rested her forehead on her palms. I tried not to look at her, but I couldn't help myself. I have always considered my mother to be a good, honest woman. A plan formed in my head. Do you want a massage, Mom? I asked. She nodded. I smiled. It worked great. Now I had to move on to the next stage. You know, Mom, I said, your whole body is tense. We went up to her room. It was a double bed and it only took up half the space, so I sat next to it on the empty half. Wait, she said suddenly. I was stunned. Did she know what I wanted? Okay, go on. It was amazing. Never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined this. I hesitated long enough for her to turn and look at me. Are you all right? She asked. Her voice shocked me. Sure, I muttered. She smiled and turned back. She began to talk about her work. Apparently, she didn't like it very much. She complained about the condescending boss and useless colleagues. But she had no choice. It was the only job she could get, so she had to stick to it. I accidentally touched a place where it was forbidden to climb. She immediately got up on her side. Alex, why did you do that? Mom, But I couldn't answer. What could I say? Alex, you. She stopped in mid-sentence. Mom, don't worry, I said quietly. Everything will be fine. What are you talking about? Oh. She looked down. Alex, take your hand away. I can't, Mom, I said. Alex, we shouldn't. You know, I've never had a girlfriend. I've never seen a single girl. But you, Mom, you're beautiful, charming, smart, and you know me better than any girl. Alex, how dare you say such things to me? I ignored her. She didn't stop me. It had to mean something. She stared at the ceiling, completely lost. I got up and looked at her. Mom, I said softly. Are you all right? She didn't answer, just kept looking up. Her eyes shifted, and she looked at me as if for the first time. Alex, we shouldn't have. I couldn't help myself, Mom. I mean, you're so beautiful. You told me. Yes, but the words failed me. Alex, when a woman is single and wants a man, then the man tells her that she is still beautiful, despite her age, she gets ideas. That's exactly what happened today. She shook her head. No, I cannot. With that, she hurried into the adjoining bathroom. As for me, I was just sitting on her bed. I sighed, took my clothes, and went to my room. For the rest of the weekend, Mom avoided me as much as she could. Her excuse was that she was meeting a friend, or going grocery shopping, or doing some last-minute work at the office, but I knew the real reason was that she just didn't want to be alone with me in case something happened. She was giving me looks that were a cry for help, and I desperately wanted to help. Maybe all she needs is time, I reasoned to myself.